Hey guys, Reyfar here, and tonight I'm going to talk about Huvek by James L. Steele, which I've been wanting to read actually for quite a while now. I quite like the cover. It's a bit too saucy for me to just read a bit blatantly than others in public, but it was fine. I quite like I think it's just my taste, but I really like spacey kind of pictures. So I like the back one a little bit more than the front, just because of the moons and stuff. But yeah, so this one came out in 2014, so 4 years ago now. And this is, I'm pretty sure this is his first book. He's had things published and short stories before, and his new one, Dangerous Thoughts, came out. Which I'll talk a bit more about my feelings now with that, reading Huvek later when I get to it. But, so actually, who was the illustrator? I forgot to look into that cover art. But, the illustrator is, Purple Pardus, which I'm not familiar with. I know there's probably something in the back about them. They are... Oh, okay, there's nothing in the back. Maybe... That's sort of odd. Alright, maybe I'll look into it and even call up on the description. But yeah, so Huvek follows pretty closely with Loy, who's human, and the human race has been at war with the Kezvek, this reptile. No, they're not mammals because they lay eggs. The alien reptile race. I think they've been at war. I think 400 years, was it? I was thinking about it earlier, and I was thinking it was 40 or 400. Like, no, it wasn't 40. Like, I'm pretty sure it was 400 years. But ever since, it was pretty short. Actually, no, it was like after they started colonizing, exploring, and they were the first alien life that they found. And the big thing with the human race is that upon finding them, it struck the fear of God through the whole race, and they turned a lot more religious and conservative with their beliefs, and it kind of plays into how the military is extremely conservative with like technology and whatever, and there's some nice themes going on there, but it's like there are all these things that like personally, if I'd read this story a couple of years back when I wasn't as in depth into some of the readings and podcasts and my own just like research and stuff these days, I wouldn't I wouldn't be a bit so critical of the things, but because like I look into like stuff, fucking the government's lie to you all the time, like both sides to conflicts and wars and other things like that. A lot of the themings, the main big theme, the whole Huvik thing, which I'll get to in a second. It was just it was something I did like. I enjoyed it, but I really wanted to see a bit more worked with it, which is really weird. Is what I wanted to get to is that there's a lot of things in Huvik that I really liked and I enjoyed, but I really, really want to see what he did with them, how he took those, how he took it and improved upon it in like his later works, like Dangerous Thoughts. Like the big thing was like I guess the uniqueness of the Kezvek and their species, like their lizard people and they're like herbivores, and they survived and what's the word? Evolved on their planet and with a very aggressive predator species, and they were proved to be dominant, and that shaped their whole race and their whole culture pretty strongly. In contrast to, I guess, humanity and how they went about it. But yeah, so dialing it back, but yeah, so the humans and the Kezvek have been at war for like a couple hundred years now, and so it follows a lot of Loy, who's partaking in the Battle of Mute 4. I think it was the third battle. I think it was the third or second battle, and he you know, they're fucked. Like, the humans are fucked, they're about to die, and Loy, about to overrun, and they die. Oh, no, don't die. Loy dies. And after Loy dies, in a kind of a ritualistic battle with one of the Kesvek, as he takes off his what little armor he does have, because you know they're naturally armored reptiles. Which is what is interesting. Like, they're naturally armored. They got really thick bones and muscles, and as well as their scales. They're all just designed to, not designed, evolved to take a beating and protect themselves with their claws. And yeah, so he dies, and then he wakes up, shockingly, because he's pretty sure he was dead, and he's stuck in a cell with just a bed and a shower with a Kesvek detainee with him, and without spoiling it too much, he's the better first half of the book is just him and the Kesvek trying to understand each other better, and they're also trying to work out who's holding them there and how they're going to get out of it, because after a while they're transported to another room, like teleported, and where they just both have the overriding urge to just kill each other, and then obviously the human Loy always dies until he doesn't, and then that jumpstarts things. And then and yeah, so I guess I want to talk a bit. I don't really want to spoil it, because I feel like that's a lot of chunk of the book is what that whole detainee prison thing was about, and so I'll just talk a bit about Loy, and let me go. So yeah, I'll just talk a little bit about Loy for now, and then as my train of thought goes along, I'll see how it wants to take me. So I have pretty strong opinions of Loy. Mostly, okay, I think most, like, I don't want to say, okay, I think the problems I had with the pacing were more the problems I had with Loy, because I didn't really like Loy. Like, it's just starting off, like, I get where that character was coming from, I get where he was coming from, and why he was such a sort of what's the word on tip of my tongue, like a strong and so Loy's a pretty strong example of, I guess, the every soldier man and just human in general in this universe, and that is kind of a little bit grating with my own kind of sympathies and personal sympathies these days. And yeah, so like and then it kind of, because you're kind of stuck with him and you don't really have any outside perspective, and so then that it dragged me down, and I was just like, my god, I'm so fucking tired, because I felt like I was just hearing the same fucking shit. Like, I know it was kind of the feeling that was going on, like they try and talk, they got closer together, and then they just teleport away and they'd fight, and you know, and then it would sort of reset, but like Loy was still kind of going somewhere, but it's just like you know, I get it. You know, I get you're disgusted by the Kesvek, you know, the big bad. And yeah. So yeah, I think. Oh god, I do want to go a little bit into spoilers, but I kind of forgot what I wanted to go about. So give me a moment. I'll catch my train of thought. Okay, so alright, so I've pretty much remembered it. So yeah, so if you just want a recommendation, so Huvek is actually pretty good. Like I quite like it. Like I'm not a huge sci-fi reader. Like I want to be, but like it's more that yeah, just like I put my preferences above it, so like I like contemporary and other kind of things like that, or like specific short stories that I wanted to read or I said I would read like fucking months ago. But no, I would recommend it. I'm pretty sure it has an ebook up on Amazon. I don't think if it's on Bad Dog Books, but it is on available from Fair Planet. They publish it, and I think you can get a copy through Rabbit Valley, and I think I got my copy from Jaffa Books. So if there is, I'll chuck a link for that, or I might just misremembered that. So yeah, so Huvek's pretty cool. So I'll go a bit into spoilers now. So one of my big qualm, especially towards the end, like more so than just fucking hating Lottie, a little bit to start there, was that there's the whole question that's a bit explored by Dr. John Loom, is that whether this the whole experiment of hell to how be to in to I'm trying to think of the proper word. Okay, so basically the whole prison kind of thing was an experiment by the Kesvek to allow the humans to exist peacefully with them, like to let them join the herd. Well, not really quotes, but join the herd, because they're, you know, like a herd species kind of thing, of like herbivores. And because of that, because of the whole their ritualistic fighting, you find out like clashes, and that's kind of just to kind of identify yourself to another Kesvek, as you're like someone that can be trusted, someone that's safe, that can, you know, be with you and part of the herd. And like, unfortunately, because the way they've evolved, their claws are even the them being light and going easy, like just, you know, slight scrapes to, you know, mix your blood, because they're really big on scent. That's, you know, the tongue's like, oh, that's a huge fin I just forgot to talk about. Yeah, and because the humans weak, so they kind of die in this like clash, and which is kind of prevents them from joining the herd, and why the Keswick are just so I guess scared of them, or they just, you know, why they kill them. It's because, you know, they can't be trusted, so, you know, they're a threat. And yeah, and so John Loom was talking a lot of times about how, like, you know, this is it. The whole experiment is, well, it's obviously like a form of altering and mind control, and bringing him back from the dead because he died several times, and how it was like the ethics and the morals of that were, you know, even abhorrent to the human race then, but even then they were touchy at best. And it's a question I kind of, you know, obviously I haven't really thought about it much, but I'd like to explore that greater question. Is that, like, if, you know, us and this other alien species have met, and we're physically incapable of having a peaceful existence without, you know, something changing drastically, or drastically, yeah, more drastically and more permanent than just, like, you know, cultural differences. And whether that is right or wrong. I think from the little understanding I have these days, my general feeling is that, like, the way that, I guess, we're going as a human species, by like 2050, regardless of all the threats that affecting us as our planet or our species as a whole, there may be prudence to pursue things like to alter our DNA or change our genetics to combat or survive these future problems. And it's something that I'm pretty sure, as I get more educated, or just our general thinking on the matter changes, it'll be different. But these days it's like it's a bit scary. It's like, oh, okay, if we all had to live underwater, would we want to change our genetics to allow us to breathe underwater to continue our civilization? Like something not as huge and hokey as that, but in the same kind of line of thinking. And it's like, they're greater questions, I guess. No, they're greater questions, but they're very similar questions to what the end of Huvek is kind of asking the reader. At least that's the way I see it. Because I think, because I had such a strong dislike of Loy, the whole, at least from my perspective as a reader, the whole kind of narrative shifted. And it wasn't just like, here is a courageous story about Loy learning, finding a way for the human race to coexist alongside the Kesvek. It has changed the story to, here's a story about Loy and the Kesvek who have assisted Loy in finding a way for the human race to exist alongside them. Is that ethical and right, especially with how the story ends? Because I think if you look at it negatively, it's a very dark ending, where the Kesvek ultimately succeed in the I wouldn't say. No, I'd say assimilation of the human species, and where they've physically forced them to assimilate and to change to be one with them. It's really cool. Like, to be honest, when I went into it, I thought it was going to be a bit kind of a bit boring, like a bit normal, not boring. Just like, oh, this guy falls in love with the other alien guy, and then they gotta bond together and then save the day and bring the two races together. And I actually really liked a lot of the thinking. It made me think, and the questions it brought up that I've thought about a little bit lately, but I haven't really thought greatly. So for that, I would totally recommend it. But that's only if you're like me. But yeah, so it's something I do want to talk about a little bit more. But I think what I want to do is I want to see where James L. Steele goes with Dangerous Thoughts and what he explores in that. Because I think But I think I'm really going to enjoy it. I think that this. I'm thinking it now. I think I'm just going to enjoy it. So no, that's pretty much it. There was like a couple, like one or two things I did want to just be like annoying, fucking nitpicky about, but I don't think after talking out like that, it's worth it. Kind of respectful, because they're more just minor quibbles of taste that I have. So I've been Reyfar, and totally Ground Perfect by James L. Steele, and I'll catch you later.